house will rock. Blind boys don't lie. Cry, little sister. Come to your brother. Chinese sister. Love is with your brother.
Today's show is featuring Joe Ferrara and his store Atlantis Fantasyworld. Oh, say, can you see? Joe sings the national anthem. We will be right back after this clip.
And here now to perform the Star Spangled Banner, please welcome from Santa Cruz, Joe Ferrara.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Our land of the free and the home of the brave.
Joe Ferrara, the owner of Atlantis Fantasyworld, decided how he wanted to open a comic store in this video.
At the time, I had a collection of 6,000 comics. I had been reading and collecting through college, and brought my comics with me, never intending to open a business, but I was driving, at that time I was a musician, making my living with my music, playing 4 or 5 nights a week in the clubs. Somebody asked me at dinner what I was going to do with those comics, and my mom said, well, he'll probably open his own store. And as soon as she said that, it was like a tuning fork. Just my whole body vibrated. I said, wow, of course. And the next day I became driven, basically. That was August of '76. We opened in November of '76. Welcome to Atlantis. You walk in and retail, immediately to the right, it's extremely important. This is our all ages family section. So you can find anything you want for kids. We have Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and X-Men. Bam, right here, where you can see the signs when you walk in the door. This was when they shot the film The Lost Boys in our store. I was actually in the background for 3 seconds playing the pinball machine in one scene. Our second room, our Starship room, when we added this room in '94, we designed it to look like the interior of a starship. So that's where you see the mural up here. We're inside the ship, and our sister ship, the Enterprise, is hanging outdoors. If anybody had told me when I was 27 years old and started the business that I'd be behind a counter for 35 years, I said, shoot me now. Because when you're young, you don't want to limit yourself. You want to have every door possible open. But what I discovered as we all age, that when you're the one closing the door and choosing to go in a direction, it's okay. You just don't want somebody else to close that door for you. So when you make choices to go in certain directions, that obviously means you're not going to do other things.
We have a short 1-minute video showing the scene from the movie The Lost Boys and the comic Vampires Everywhere from this movie filmed in Santa Cruz in 1987.
For a fashion pickup. Listen, buddy, if you're looking for the Diet Frozen Yogurt bar, went out of business last summer.
Actually, I'm looking for a Batman number 14.
That's a very serious book. Are there 5 in existence?
4, actually. I'm always looking out for the other 3. Look, can't get the Superman number 77s with the 200s. They haven't even discovered red kryptonite yet. And you can't put the number 98 with the 300s. Maurice LaMarche hasn't even been introduced.
Where the hell are you from? Krypton?
Phoenix, actually. But lucky me, we moved here.
Take this.
And my core comics.
You'll like this one, Mr. Phoenix. It could save your life.
Hey! Hey! Back here! Back here!
Go, Joe. Okay, this comic is the actual prop from the movie The Lost Boys, and this is the scene where Corey Haim was given this comic by the Frog Brothers. And they said, "You're going to need to call us. Our phone number's in this book." And he says, "I don't read comics." And they said, "You're going to need this." And eventually he starts reading it, and he goes, "Oh, yes, my brother's a vampire," or whatever. So this is the prop that they left with us after they filmed the movie, and it's actually got some signatures by some of the crew and Corey Haim on the inside. And people come from all over the world. There are pictures on our website in our Lost Boys gallery. People from Switzerland, England, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, you name it. They come to get their picture taken with this prop. It's kind of cool.
We also have today a 5-minute tribute video to Santa Cruz and the Lost Boys, which was also part of the show opener.
I need you now. Cry, little sister. Come to your brother. Hey, yeah. I'm Chinese sister. Love is with your brother. Hey, yeah. Cry, little sister. Come to your brother. Hey, yeah. I'm Chinese sister. Love is with your brother. Cry, sister.
In this photo from 2006, Noelle Neal, Lois Lane, visits the store in conjunction with her appearance in the movie Superman Returns. Her career has spanned 70 years, but she is still best remembered for playing Lois Lane in the 1950s TV series, The Adventures of Superman. Her portrayal of the news reporter inspired millions of young women to seek professional careers. In this 3-minute clip, Floyd Norman visits Santa Cruz and gives advice to inspiring artists how to follow your passion as an animator like he did in the start of his career in the 1950s.
Walt used to grab a kid almost off the street, who had drawing ability. And if a guy showed potential, boy, he would just come right in and start drawing. Today, it's become a lot harder in many ways because the whole process is more of a formalized process. They want to see a portfolio. They want to know what schools you've gone to. They may even want to know if you have a degree. So in that sense, it's a little tougher to get a job because now the kids have all these, demands they have to meet. When I came in the business back in the 50s, we had guys who were literally driving past the studio. That's the case of one of the guys you saw on screen. He was on his way back to Arizona, and he spotted the Walt Disney Studio, thought he'd stop in and apply for a job, and worked there until he retired. That's the way it was in the early days, where you just stop in and say, "Hey, yeah, are you guys hiring an artist today?"
Well, are there some schools better than others that you recommend?
I would say that the Pixar guys like John Lasseter, who John is now as much a Disney guy as he is a Pixar guy, would probably recommend the school he went to, which is Cal Arts. The California Institute of the Arts out in Valencia is where a lot of the young Disney artists and Pixar artists have come from. So I would bet that would be high on the list. Now, it's not absolutely necessary that you go to Cal Arts. We've gotten a lot of great people who've come from Sheridan up in Canada. A lot of great guys who've come out of that school. And then there's the school I went to, Art Center, the Art Center College of Design. One of the things that amazes me today is how expensive art school is. It's not like it was when I went to school. Now, that doesn't mean it's a total requirement that you have to have that. I've known a lot of kids who still break in just because they are tenacious, just because they are resourceful. And they'll start work at a small place. There are a lot of little small places in Hollywood. Effects houses, smaller studios. Guys would get in there and they'll do some small job at the bottom and then work their way up. And then maybe make the jump to a DreamWorks or to a Disney. So people ask me, how do you get into the business today? I say there are many ways in. You know, it's not just one way. There's a number of ways to get in. It's just that you have to be resourceful enough to find a way in. If you want it bad enough, and I know a lot of guys do, they always find a way to get in. I've known guys who started as parking lot attendants to get into a studio and have gotten in that way. I've known guys who started as truck drivers, making deliveries, and gotten into the studio that way. So I tell people, you get in any way you can, you know, and it's true. And it's true because if you can get into the studio, if you can get on the studio lot, that immediately gives you access to all the big shots, to all the people, you know. You see them walking by, you know, hey, there's so-and-so, there's this guy. And then you can grab them and say, excuse me, sir, you know, I've got some, you know, mind taking a look at my drawings here. I've known guys who've gotten jobs that way.
Wasn't that a great video? In our next roll-in, Joe Ferrara hosts Maurice LaMarche, the 2011 Emmy Award winner for Best Cartoon Voice Actor.
So first of all, I want to thank all of you for being here. Let you all know that the Cinema 9 has donated the use of this theater for this morning's event. So how about a hand for Cinema 9? Okay, before we go, you got something else?
No.
Okay. I have been attending San Diego Con in my professional capacity for a number of years. And back, I think around 6-7 years ago, one of my favorite things to do is attend a panel of cartoon voice actors, of which Maurice was one of those people up there, and the moderator would introduce them, tell the audience some of the work they had done, and then ask them questions. They would read a cartoon script, a lot of entertainment for the only 45 minutes that you're in the room. I asked the panel at large, I said, have any of you ever called a friend and played a practical joke on them? Because if I could do voices, that's what I would do.
The story actually ended up on The Tonight Show.
Really?
Stephen had done this was during his St. Elsewhere years. He was the chubby one on St. Elsewhere. Elliot was his character name. And so he went on the Carson show. And then after he'd come off of it, Howie Mandel, who was my best friend, we're still good friends, we're just incredibly busy, so we only see each other once every 2 years. But we went to high school together in Toronto, we came down here together, and I really credit Howie. Howie's the reason I moved to Los Angeles and got out of Toronto. But Howie said, Mo, wait, what? No, okay, wait, what? That was back when he used to talk like that. He said, let's play a joke on Steve, call him up as Johnny Carson now that he's been like on the show. And so I called him, I go, Steve, this is Johnny Carson. Listen, I loved you on the show the other night. We have something called the Tonight Show Shuffleboard Tournament. And we want, and I don't know I can't remember how far we talked it because Howie just kept feeding me jokes and things like that. But we had him convinced he was going to a special Tonight Show Shuffleboard Tournament. Very exciting. To raise money for a charity for people who can't figure out how to play shuffleboard. And And so Steven goes on the show and tells Johnny that, you know, he had this experience of this guy who did, of course he didn't drop my name, but that's okay. And apparently while he was receiving the call, kids were like jumping all over and he was like throwing them across the bed. I'm on the phone with Johnny Carson! He was like rolling his kids into the pillow like bowling balls, you know, and they're coming back for more because it's become a game now. Let's interrupt Dad while he's talking to Johnny Carson.
Well, about 4 years ago, they invited Maurice to come to the awards ceremony. Now, the equivalent of the Oscars in the comics world are the Eisners. And they invited Maurice to open the ceremonies in his very stately narrator voice. Would you do a little introduction to the Eisners for us?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this year's Eisner Award winner, Joe Ferrara.
There you go. So what happened was, we have a group of people, there's like 14 of us, who have a dinner every year in San Diego before we come home. And we go to the same restaurant every year. It's a meat buffet. They'll bring out the meat, you pay one price, and they just keep bringing it on skewers.
On these swords.
Yeah.
I call it meat pirates. Because it's like it's on a sword, and they have more lucky. Except with Brazilian accents.
So I'm there with a group of my friends. This is the one night a year Joe drinks. I'm not a drinker. But when I don't have to drive the next day, and they make these things, we all know what mojitos are, but anybody ever heard of a caipirinha? That's the Brazilian equivalent. It's got, whatever is in it is good.
And it's made at this particular place by a beautiful girl.
Who stands in a go-go cage.
Yeah, go-go cage,
Yeah.
draped in feathers.
So I have 4 of these things every year. So here we are, Joe's had dinner, he's had his 4 caipirinhas, we go out on the sidewalk, it's a summer day, early evening, and one of the people in our group is the woman who owns the comic store in Los Angeles, Golden Apple. Who is she talking to but Maurice, Sharon Leibowitz, our dear friend.
Yeah.
She's talking to Maurice. Now, Maurice and I have never met, I've just seen him at these panels.
And by the way, Sharon has no idea what I do for a living.
That's right.
I'm just her customer, this guy who walks in and buys Batman.
And I turn and I see her talking to who she knows is a nice man. And I lose it. Oh, Maurice, you're so wonderful. Oh, my God. Here, let me introduce you to my friend. This is the vice president of DC. This is the... And Sharon and everybody is staring at me like, what the hell is going on? Do you guys know who this guy is? You know? I lost it. Okay, made an idiot of myself. Now, fast forward a year later, we're at the Eisners. They've invited him to introduce the Eisners. And there's a little buffet. So I go up to get some food, and I freeze, because there's Maurice. And I saddled up next to him, and I said, I hope you don't remember me. And in his brain voice, he says,
what did I say?
I remember you. And I just...
I think I even remembered your name.
Yeah, well,
so
you know...
made quite an impression on me.
I made an impression. We gave each other a hug, and we've been best friends ever since.
Oh, it never bothered me. I love. Yeah, see, I toil on in anonymity in my job, because you know, you guys, I'm sure are not here because you know my face, but you probably know the Brain, or you know Kif from Futurama, or so if the characters are famous. I'm not. Nobody knows what I look like, so I'm like, it's like being Batman. It's like having a secret identity, you know. I mean, the characters are Batman, and I'm Bruce Wayne, you know. So, well, okay, it's about a billionth of the cash, but you know, I mean, that's the way it is with being a voiceover artist. So whenever anybody recognizes me, whether they throttle me like Joe, or just approaching me meekly, I don't care. Just thank you for the attention. Thank you very kindly. So I loved it.
So the reason I wanted to tell this story is to show you how, here's a man who meets a waitress in Los Angeles. Here's a guy who just is going to the con. We accidentally run into each other. We become friends. And this last summer at the con, we were having breakfast, and he suggested, why don't I come up and we'll do exactly what we're doing today. Yeah. So I wanted you to understand.
I saw it as a great opportunity because I thought Santa Cruz, Levi, Jamie's brother, and Joe, and signings, and let's, you know, I've done signings. I don't like to take money for my signature. I've done it, but I don't. But please, for Levi, you know, you come over to the store, put some money in the jar, maybe a little extra. It doesn't, you know, and I'll do your answering machine, anything you want, just because this is a great cause. You know, Levi is Levi has been left quadriplegic, but boy, he's got a great spirit. He's got a wonderful attitude, and I just, you know, he has no self-pity or anything like that, but he knows he's got needs, and medicinal needs, as well as this body frame that helps him get out of bed, and they need a new one. So we really need to raise as much as we can towards that today. So I'm just thrilled to be here to help with that. I love the idea of being able to use my small talents to bring some people out and just reach in and, you know, if you can give whatever you can, even if you can't get over to the signing, drop something in a jar on the way out of the theater. You know, just you'd be doing some good.
He said small talents. You heard that, right? I want to have you join me. This is the 2011 Emmy winner for Best Cartoon Voice Actor. Can we give him a round of applause?
There was a hanging Chad in there somewhere. It should have gone to Homer Simpson. But.
In this next video, Joe plays with Suzanne Barnett on her show, Suzanne's Studio.
Welcome to Suzanne's Studio. I'm Suzanne Barnett, your host, and tonight I have a special treat for you, my wonderful viewers. My guest tonight is Joe Ferrara. He knows over 1,000 songs.
Well, I have 2 gigs, as we say, 2 regular performances. I play every Friday in Capitola at the Shadowbrook Restaurant, lovely restaurant.
What time?
6:30 till 10 in the Rock Room Lounge. It's a very romantic setting. And then every Sunday I have fun at the Katz Restaurant in Los Gatos, which has been reopened. It'll be 2 years now on New Year's Eve. So Sundays is 6 till 9 o'clock. And they're 2 very different gigs. Like I say, Shadowbrook's kind of romantic, and Katz is a good old roadhouse. We have a lot of fun, some sing-alongs. We have a good time.
Well, I've been to Shadowbrook, not to Katz, and you are fabulous. What an audience. Well, we've got to hear you sing.
Well, I learn a lot of songs, and every once in a while I say, how come I haven't been singing this song for a long time? I have recently added this to the repertoire. No one to walk with, all by myself. No one to talk with, but I'm happy on a shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Yes, you, just you, oh you. Now it's for certain, the one I love. I'm through with flirting, it's just you I'm dreaming of. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in that corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Yes, you, just you, oh you. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you.
Yay. Oh, you are so good.
Thank you.
You
and
are,
as I tell my
Joe.
audience, the more you drink, the better I get.
Next year will be the 40th anniversary of the opening of the store, Atlantis Fantasyworld. One of the 39th year celebrations is Free Comic Book Day. All day, each person will receive 6 free comic books and can meet Willie Ito, famous animator of Lady and the Tramp, Flintstones, Jetsons, and more. The Man in Black, fled across the desert, and the gunslinger followed. So begins Book 1 of Stephen King's fantasy series from 2003. The Dark Tower, part novel, part sci-fi, part spaghetti western, and part high fantasy vision. The gunslinger tells the story of Roland Deschain, Midworld's last gunslinger, who is tracking a magician known only as the Man in Black. As a special gift, if you visit the Atlantis Fantasyworld store and mention you saw this show, you can pick up a copy of The Dark World for half off the regular price. My name is Zia Lee. I want to thank you for watching the BTS Presents show. Thank you also to the production team, the staff, and community television of Santa Cruz County.
Overlooking the point. I can't beat you, Mike. You don't have to beat me, Michael. You just have to try and keep up.
My shine will not. I can't forget. I need you
If you enjoyed this program, you can support community television with a generous contribution. Send your tax-deductible donation to CTV 816 Pacific Avenue, Santa Cruz, California, 95060. You can also support CTV by giving a donation online at www.communitytv.org. Then press the donate key.